Welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Jonathan Brandt, cancer survivor, who lost his late wife to cancer herself and went back to school with her while they were both in treatment, earning certificates in holistic nutrition, personal training, and holistic practice. And together they found their calling, helping others take control of their health during the worst time of their lives. So today with Jonathan, we'll explore what it means to be proactive in the face of disease, what cancer treatment really looks like, including the side effects nobody talks about, and why community matters when you are fighting for your life. Welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome. Welcome to the show, Jonathan. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about go out living that you talk about. We'll learn this from you and much more. But before that, let's learn a bit about your journey, your background, your story, so that the audience knows who they are listening to.
Yeah, of course. My story, it goes a long ways back. Um, as far as the medical side, I have done about everything. I was on the conventional medicine side, from certified nurse assistant to surgical technologist up to a medical helicopter pilot over the last 20 years. And through what has been a very tough battle for the last 5+ years with our cancer, we got into looking at the holistic side of it, looking for answers to questions we couldn't find in the medical world. So it's been quite a journey getting here. But yeah, we've learned a lot, and we're learning a lot still.
Absolutely, absolutely, Jonathan. And not only you, along with that, millions and millions of people will learn through this podcast, other podcasts, and as long as this podcast reaches anyone in any part of the world. So I want to understand, Jonathan, what is it that you are trying to tell the world with what you have been through, with what you have learned, what you are, learning still?
Oh, that's a big question. What we learned, the medical world does not have all the answers, is probably one of the biggest things. Christy went at least 10 years without being diagnosed, whether it's misdiagnosed or just completely didn't even test for cancer. It was every part of it was not happening in the way it should have. And she struggled for years and years and years. And they did everything from take her gallbladder out to an appendectomy, trying to figure out what was going on without actually doing the testing that they needed to do. So we were going to the emergency room. We were going to the doctors. We were going to everything we could think of at the time, but it was all in that medical world that we're all used to, just modern medicine or Western medicine, whichever way you want to say it. And they continued to miss everything. And they would, like I said, they were trying different things. But something that was funny to me was she lost an eye when she was young. I want to say 9 or 10 years old. And it was cancer. So how they didn't test for cancer almost from the beginning, and there was cancer in the family. So family history was missed. So we jumped into, okay, they finally got a diagnosis. They finally figured it out. The problem was it was almost stage 4 right off the bat. And a doctor that did a physical exam, just from a visual, goes, oh my God, this has been here for at least 10 years. Our hearts were broken at that point because, again, Christy struggled for so long trying to find the answer. So at least we got the answer, but now to find out, okay, we've missed it for this long and we're almost at the end is how we kind of took it. So we had to jump straight into getting her help. And that was, again, going through Western medicine, that was the chemo, that was the radiation, that was brachytherapy, and every part of it destroys the body. The side effects were unbelievable. It took everything out of her. She basically laid in bed. Um, so it was a struggle for that first year about that, we were trying to get her, and at the same time, we're going through COVID. So that even made it harder. And yeah, it was just a struggle because we weren't really getting all the answers we wanted. And we were finding that the tumor was shrinking and eventually it cleared, but we knew it wasn't right. We knew there was still more there.
What about your cancer? When did that happen?
So a little over a year after Christy's initial diagnosis, and like I said, she got clear results. I wasn't feeling real great, especially when I was a medical helicopter pilot, and I'd be gone a week at a time, and we did 12-hour shifts, and I was having a really, really rough week. I couldn't eat. I had night sweats. I mean, it was really bad, and eventually I came home and Christy saw me that morning and she's like, "Man, you don't look good." And again, being me, a man, I was just gonna sleep it off. I was gonna let everything take its course and move on. And she had different thoughts and she got me a doctor's appointment immediately. And she came and woke me up about an hour later after going to bed. And she's like, "You're going to the doctor." And it was a doctor we knew. And he looked at me, just a general practitioner. And he looked at me, he was like, there's something here. I had a big lump on my neck. And first test came back, yeah, you have cancer. I mean, it was that quick. And then the ball started rolling and we got the diagnosis that was Hodgkin's lymphoma, and really a quick moving one. And they jumped straight into chemo within a couple months, really.
I don't know how to ask, Jonathan, how do you deal with something that two people in the family, husband and wife, both, trying to help each other deal with this sort of news? Help us understand. I don't know how to ask.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I don't think we knew what we were doing, to be honest. And the hard part was nobody could work at the time. So I basically lost my medical. So yeah, that's a big part of it. Financially, what are we going to do? And we had 5 kids. Not everybody was living in the household at the time, but it was a big family. So we dove into trying to be normal, I guess is how we looked at it. And we were there for the kids in every aspect, whether it was a sporting event or school. We just put everything into them. There was, yeah, there were tough days. There were really tough days, but I kept going. Somebody couldn't be sick at some point during this time. So initially, yeah, we tried to not think about it, and we always stayed positive. We didn't really, I don't remember us really ever looking at each other going, "Man, we're in trouble here." Uh, and like I said, we both ended up going back to school. Chrissy actually went back to work after she got re-diagnosed as a certified nurse assistant, which was, man, this girl was strong. I mean, if you've worked in a nursing home as a CNA or in any capacity, you understand how tough that is. You're constantly on your feet, you're constantly running around. And she was going through treatment at the time. So it was just an amazing feat that she was showing everybody, and just the strength she had to do that. In the background, I was doing schooling. I actually got my project management certificate. And then eventually she started, and a lot of it came from our daughter. I believe she was 17 at the time. They decided to go back and get their phlebotomy certificates at the same time. So we kept going. We kept having goals. We kept looking at a future. We knew things had to change, but we weren't going to give up. We're just fighting is what we were doing. I don't think we looked at it in a negative way in any way. We thought, okay, we got to deal with it, but let's move on. I have a tattoo that says "Keep moving forward," Walt Disney quote. And that's how we reacted to it.
why did you go to school and learn about, you know, holistic nutrition, personal training, all these things? What was the motivation for this when you needed so much of rest?
Um, the big one was side effects. Yes, we needed something else to do. Like I said, I lost my medical. Um, it was our goal to just keep moving. But the side effects were horrible. For instance, on Christy's side, she ended up with neuropathy. Then she ended up with blood clots. Blood clots were getting into her lungs. It was, it just kept moving on, moving as far as the side effects kept getting worse and worse and worse, to the extent where she could barely walk at one point. And like I said, then the blood clots were getting into her lungs. Then they were worried about it getting into her heart. And we were getting her on blood thinners and it wasn't working. She was still getting the blood clots. She actually got surgery and to open up those vessels. And we think within a month it was closed up again. On my side, I went through a bone marrow transplant and I ended up with a lot of gut issues. What I didn't realize at the time is how bad it was. I saw where I was gaining weight was the one I saw and the one I really was really having a hard time with, because I worked out all the time. Even during my chemo, I ended up doing a 5K. So probably not the smartest thing in the world to do, but yeah. So I started gaining a lot of weight. Doctors had no answers. Doctors had no answers for Christy as well. You know, other than, okay, take another med. Well, that other med would always come with a side effect. So as I was gaining weight, that's when we started going back to school, because at that point we knew the medical world was not having the answers we needed to fight the side effects. And so that's when Christy went back, got her holistic practitioner. I went, got a holistic nutrition and personal trainer, finding answers for ourselves. And eventually I did find some answers for me. And a lot of it came from just simply doing an at-home blood test, because we found out we needed more help than what we could find for ourselves. So we were looking outside at the holistic side. You know, Christy was going to a chiropractor. She was getting acupuncture. So she's the one that really started it. But yeah, we knew we needed to look outside as well. And that one blood test came back and they said, hey, try psyllium husk fiber. I'm going, God, I just paid a lot of money for somebody to tell me to take a supplement. But that one thing, I started losing weight. We started to understand holistics was the way to go for us, to find those answers that we weren't getting in the real world, or in the medical world, I should say. So we knew we were on the right track. Unfortunately, it was too late for Christy. Again, she had lived with it for, at that point, almost 15 years that we know of. But on my side, yeah, I ended up getting better. I did have surgery over the summer because, again, the damage was so bad and we caught it too late. So I lost a big portion of my colon, but the holistic side is what I'm doing now to try and recover from that.
With both of you having this particular disease or illness, I don't know what's the right word here. What did you talk among yourself? Did you talk about illness both having at the same time? Looked at it, with what way did you look at it?
We kind of laughed at each other. It had to be, we looked at it from a humorous side, because if we looked at it any other way, it was really depressing, to go through, one of you going through it to both of us was tough. And a lot of people kept saying, you got to just write a book. How does this happen? And yeah, we just used humor. We again used look at the future. Let's find a lifestyle that we can just keep moving, keep going forward, be there for our kids. So we didn't look at it like this was the end. We looked at it, okay, it's a step in the, on that path to whatever, it becomes. But yeah, we didn't look at it in a negative way. It was not fun, but it was just another, like I said, another step in our long path.
Seeing mortality of humans from so close, you start seeing it differently, everything. How did you start looking at life then? And even towards the future?
I'll be honest. I before my diagnosis, I did everything wrong. I didn't eat right. Uh, I drank. I smoked, thinking I was invincible, like everybody else, especially for younger people. Unfortunately, I wasn't that young even at that time when I got diagnosed. But you know, we we don't look at anything other than what's there today and tomorrow. Maybe you don't look at the future. You don't look at what all this is going to do to you 10, 20 years from now. So you ignore everything until it actually happens. That's the hard part. That's what we're trying to change. We want people to notice it now, to understand you can't continue doing what you're doing without something happening. And you look around you. I guarantee you have friends, family that either have gotten cancer, diabetes, obesity. Everybody has something. That's how I look at it now. I look at it for I need to do something better now for my future. If I want to be here for a future, for my kids, I had to change. And that's the biggest thing I saw was I had to not only change my nutrition, not only change my physical side as far as fitness, as far as working out, but I had to change the mental side. And that's the part that I don't think people really think about is your mental health. And I had to find joy in life. So that all started with acknowledging it. And then it kept getting better. That's where the podcast came from. Us looking at it in a different way from that mental health side. And this is all helping me. Just being not only a guest on podcasts, but hosting a podcast has helped me with my journey by becoming healthier mentally. So that's how I look at everything. I look at it for it's a lifestyle that I've changed, that I continue to change to get better, to be there for my kids.
Absolutely. What is this go out living attitude that you talk about? What can people learn from it? How can people understand it best?
Of course. Real quick, we'll go back to where it started. It was a day that Christy was really struggling. And man, she was just hurting. And I knelt down in front of her and I said, honey, you can either go out living or you can sit there and, you're probably not going to be here the next day kind of thing. And we kind of both looked at each other and smiled and go, God, that's actually pretty good. So that was where go out living came from. And as we started thinking about it more, it was that attitude that we had the entire time. It was not giving up. It was continuing to dream. It was continuing to learn. It was wanting to be there for our kids. And that is what the go out living attitude is. And that's what we want to bring to others. The way we're doing that is through the podcast, through the website, and we also have a community on school. And we just want to help people find that attitude. We want to help them find a healthier way to go about life. We want them to be proactive. We want them to get ahead of everything so they don't have to go through what we went through. But if you are going through what we're going through, again, find that attitude to not give up, to look at the future for yourself and to change that lifestyle so you can be there for your kids and friends and family. And that doesn't mean just sitting there. That means getting up and moving and being there physically with them and enjoying life. You got to find joy in your life. And that's what go out living is. That's what it's all about.
Right. Right, Jonathan. How did you look at, your relationship with the community before and then during the diagnosis and during that recovery part? Help us understand. Why I ask this is to make the best use of what is there. Community is changing, we are all changing, but still community is community.
Without a doubt. And I wasn't part of it. I'm very much at home, be my own person. I don't have a lot of people around me, kind of mentality at the time. I started to understand how important it was to have others around you. Yeah, the community side, we're struggling. We've been doing it wrong for a long time. But The only way we move forward is as a community. Because if it's just not me, one person can't make all the difference. We have to have a lot of people understanding we need to change. We need to look at the future differently. We need to live a healthier way for our kids. We might all be in trouble at my age. We're not going to change things right now for us, but we can change it for our kids. And that's where, again, parents got to get out there. Come join these communities that want to help to change it for our kids' future. I just saw a study not long ago where kids are not going to outlive their parents. That's scary. How we don't make changes because of that alone, we have to. We can't say we're not going to. We have to recognize it, and we got to come together. And the only way we change everything is as a community. We need a lot of voices out there. And that's where the changes will come, whether it's in the government side or pharmaceuticals or, healthcare in general. We all have to speak up and say we're doing it wrong so we can get on that better path to a healthier lifestyle for our kids.
Absolutely, absolutely, Jonathan. You talk about, you know, people, even if they have gone through tough times through disease, it's never too late to take control and live a healthy lifestyle. Sometimes people think, it's already too late. What to mend when everything has gone haywire? What would you like to tell them?
It's never too late. It really isn't. Now, that doesn't mean something's not going to happen tomorrow. It's, again, the mental side of it. If you don't think anything's wrong, guess what? You're never going to solve anything. So you have to acknowledge, yeah, you got a problem, or you are fighting this disease or whatever. Uh, but you can't give up. You can't let it take you down. Look for the future. Set those goals. Change something in your life one step at a time. You don't have to do it all at once because, again, you're going to look at it for the long run, for the future. And that's where people get in trouble. They want to change it now for tomorrow. Well, no, it takes a long time. Again, this is a lifestyle. So if you look at it in that way, you'll always be doing something. You're always going to be looking at it from a positive standpoint to change, okay, my nutrition, my health and wellness in general, fitness, what have you. But it's going to take a long time. It's going to take to the end of your life. You learn, you continue to learn and fight the entire way. And guess what? You're going to be happy. I guarantee you'll be happy. And you're going to go out living. That's how I see it.
Absolutely, absolutely, Jonathan. Do you remember anything that your wife said to you that you would want to share with the audience that can help them?
Oh, you know, I, me and Christy didn't really talk on a level as far as kind of having to motivate each other. We just kind of did it together. Uh, that love that we had for each other, that fight that we had was just mutual. So there wasn't a lot of, hey, we got to do this or that, or we just kind of did it. I think the biggest thing I learned from her, though, and that she'd want others to know is, again, you don't stop. You don't let it get you down. You keep moving forward. And something that I know that she wants everybody to understand is that no matter how bad it gets, there's a future if you let it. Don't, again, don't let it take you down. And she was a perfect example of how to live with a horrible disease at the time, but really live and be there for her friends and family.
What is it that you seek for yourself now, Jonathan?
The biggest thing I'm doing is for my kids. I got a little 6-year-old at home still. Uh, I'm seeking to be here for him today, tomorrow, and in the future. I want to see him graduate. I want to see my kids get married. I want to have grandkids. Everything I do is for that. And I want to be healthy. I want to be able to play soccer with my kids. I want to be able to play hockey. I want to do all these things with them, not just sitting back watching. I want to take part in it. That's what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, I believe that it will all happen, Jonathan, for sure. There is so much to learn about life, about cancer, about recovering, about holistic, medicine, nutrition, and all. And I'm sure also from your podcast and all that you do, especially with the go out living attitude. For all those people in the world who would want to understand better, be in connect with you, learn more about life, more about your podcast, and much more, what's the best way for them to do so?
You can go to the website, gououtliving.com. The podcast is on all the major uh, platforms, YouTube, uh, Apple Podcast, Spotify. We're everywhere. We also have the school community. It's skool.com/go out living. We're doing a lot of changes with the community. I'm excited. I'm gonna be coming and putting myself out there and doing one-on-one coaching. I've been waiting a long time to get into it. We've been trying to get everything to work perfectly and bring the best experience we can from the podcast side and the website. But I'm now finally ready to start, like I said, putting myself out there, doing that one-on-one coaching if you need it. And you can find that that'll be on the school community as well.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.